Welcome to Spidell's Federal Tax Minute. I'm your host, Catherine Zidane, and this week we're covering home office expense deductions. If you're interested in getting regular in-depth tax law updates, consider a subscription to Spidell's quarterly Federal Tax Update webinar series. The upcoming session is on July 20th, and you can subscribe for a full year or purchase individual sessions. For details, go to spidell.com under the Webinars tab. Now that remote work is becoming the norm for an increasing portion of the workforce, it's important to understand which workers can claim which deductions for home office expenses. Here are some FAQs on this issue. First, can employees claim the home office deduction on their federal return? With very limited exceptions, the answer is no. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act suspended 2% miscellaneous itemized deductions for tax years 2018 through 2025, and unreimbursed employee expenses, including home office expenses, are 2% miscellaneous itemized deductions. The vast majority of employees fall into this category and therefore cannot deduct home office expenses during this time period. How can an employer help cover the employee's increased expenses? One way around this limitation is for an employer to develop a written accountable plan and reimburse the employee for their expenses. That way, the employer can deduct the expenses on the employer's return, and the employee doesn't have to include these expense reimbursements in their taxable income on their return. If the employer pays its employees' expenses through a non-accountable plan by paying them a set amount each month to cover the employee's expenses, the employer can still deduct the expense, but the employee will include the payments as taxable wages. Can an independent contractor or sole proprietor deduct their home office expense? Yes. Sole proprietors who report their business income and expenses on Schedule C can deduct their home office expenses directly on Schedule C. But if they charge rent to their customer directly, the independent contractor or sole proprietor is prohibited from claiming the rental expenses. Can an S-corporation owner-employee deduct their home office expenses? S-corporation owner-employees are treated as employees for purposes of claiming unreimbursed employee business expenses. That means the home office expenses of an S-corporation owner are disallowed because of the elimination of the 2% miscellaneous itemized deductions. Another question we get is, can a partner deduct their home office expenses related to their work performed for the partnership? Unlike S-corporation owner-employees, partners can deduct their unreimbursed partner expenses directly against their flow-through income from the partnership on Schedule E, page 2. Partners should make sure that their partnership agreement specifically states that these expenses will not be reimbursed by the partnership before they claim them. A partner's unreimbursed expenses are fully deductible against both federal income taxes and self-employment taxes. And last, does depreciation recapture apply when a taxpayer who claims a home office deduction sells their home? Taxpayers who use the regular method to compute their home office deduction by deducting actual expenses, which includes depreciation, have to account for depreciation recapture when they sell their home. Because depreciation recapture is required if depreciation is allowable, the depreciation recapture applies even if the taxpayer didn't actually claim a depreciation deduction. But taxpayers who use the simplified method for computing the home office deduction are not subject to depreciation recapture. Spidell has live and on-demand webinars on a variety of tax topics, and you can see the full list at spidell.com under the Webinars tab. Upcoming live topics include divorce tax planning, the business interest limitation, ethics, regulatory review, and more. That's all for this week. Join us next time for another episode of Spidell's Federal Tax Minute.